Hello everyone, I welcome you all in today's presentation. In our previous lecture, we have started design of various IC engine components, and in our previous presentation, we discussed about design of an IC engine cylinder. Now continuing to that, today we intend to discuss design of an IC engine piston. It is expected that after this presentation, students shall be able to understand various functions of piston of an IC engine, likely materials to be used for a piston of an IC engine, and the design of piston of an IC engine, which primarily includes thickness of piston head, thickness of rib, radial thickness of piston rings, length of piston skirt, total length of piston, and other associated parameters. So we'll discuss these one by one. Let us first discuss various functions of a piston. A piston transmits force inside the gas cylinder to the crankshaft. It compresses gas during combustion stroke. It seals the inside portion of the cylinder from the crankcase by means of piston rings. It also takes side thrust resulting from obliquity of connecting rod. We can see this over here. And it also helps in dissipating large amount of heat from the combustion chamber to the cylinder walls. If we talk about various parts of piston, the piston has following parts: piston head or crown, which is basically a top portion of the piston; piston rings, also called as compression rings, which acts as seal and prevent leakage of gas. Then beneath the piston ring there are oil escaper rings, piston skirt, which is lower part that act as a bearing surface for side thrust exerted by connecting rod, and piston pin or gudgeon pin that connects piston with the connecting rod. All these parts are being displayed over here. This is gudgeon pin, this is piston, these are rings, this is oil escaper ring, and these are compression rings. Now, what are the design requirements of a piston? Since it performs various important functions, so its design requirement ought to be specific. So a piston should have sufficient strength to withstand the forces due to combustion of fuel and also inertia forces due to reciprocating parts. It should have sufficient rigidity to withstand thermal and mechanical distortion. It should have adequate capacity to dissipate heat from the crown to the cylinder walls through piston rings and the skirt. Should have minimum weight to reduce the inertia forces due to reciprocating parts. It should prevent leakage of oil into the combustion chamber past piston. It should have sufficient bearing area to take side thrust and prevent undue wear. It should result in noiseless operation, and in the end it should provide adequate support for the piston pin that connects the small end of the bearing. So as we have seen, these are very specific design requirements which a piston should fulfill. To meet these design requirements, piston material should have specific characteristics. These are: its weight should be as low as possible, it should not get distorted at elevated temperatures, it should have low coefficient of thermal expansion, because we know that in the combustion chamber the temperature can be as high as 2000 degrees centigrade. Its thermal conductivity should be high so that it can dissipate the heat quickly. It should have good wearing properties because it continuously reciprocates inside cylinder. It should have good resistance to corrosion, and finally it should have low coefficient of friction for minimum power loss. So these are few requirements which a piston material should possess. If we talk about common piston materials, aluminum is widely used as a piston material. Primary reason being its thermal conductivity, which is a basic requirement, is thrice as that of other material, which is cast iron. Second advantage of using aluminum as piston material is its density is 1/3 of that of cast iron. That means reduced weight that will help in countering inertia forces. After aluminum, other common material that is used for piston is cast iron. The cast iron is having higher strength as compared to aluminum. Its its wear resistance is literally more than aluminum, and its coefficient of thermal expansion is approximately half of that of aluminum. So aluminum and cast iron are widely used piston materials, few with their pros and cons. As a guideline, cast iron pistons are used in moderated rated engines with piston speed below 6 meters per second, and aluminum alloy pistons are used for highly rated engines with piston speed above 6 meters per second. So this thumb rule will help us in deciding suitable piston material for the given application. This is again actual photographs of various components of piston. Now, if we talk about the design part, what we are actually supposed to find. So, designing a piston essentially involves determining thickness of piston head, which is this thickness, thickness of ribs are these beams sort of structure which provide strength, radial thickness of piston ring, axial thickness of piston ring, width of top length is this portion. It is from the top of the piston to the point where piston rings have started. Thickness of piston barrel at the top end, thickness of piston barrel at the open end, length of piston skirt, total length of piston. It might seem that these are numerous dimensions which we need to find, but the beauty of doing design of piston is we need to find only 2 or 3 dimensions, and we can represent other dimensions in the form of standard dimensions. Like most of the dimensions can be converted in the form of th, that is thickness of piston head. So it might look that there are numerous dimensions which we need to find, but in actual we need to find only few dimensions, and we can represent the others in their form. Let's first talk about thickness of piston head. We can see over here a piston head can have flat plate type head or cup type head. When the forces are more in magnitude, we need to take cup type head. So there are two considerations which are being used for finding thickness of piston head. The one is strain consideration and the other is heat dissipation consideration. We need to find the dimension of piston head, thickness of piston head from both the considerations, and the consideration that gives us higher value is being used as a thickness of piston. So if we talk about strain consideration, the formula given by Grashof is being used, which is D times root 3 P max over 16 sigma B, where P max is same that we have used in the design of cylinders, which is 10 times IMEP, and sigma B is permissible bending stress. If we use cast iron, its value is 35 to 40 megapascal, and if we use aluminium, its value lies between 50 to 90 megapascal, and D is cylinder bore, which we have already found. So using this formula, we can find what would be thickness of piston head. This is from the strength point of view. Now, to be sure that whatever thickness we have found, it is suitable from heat considerations also, we need to find thickness from heat distribution point of view also. This is the empirical formula given by researchers to find thickness of piston head from heat considerations point of view. Here H is amount of heat conducted through piston, K is thermal conductivity factor, which is 46.6 watt per meter degree centigrade for cast iron and 175 watt per meter degree centigrade for aluminum. You can see this value is thrice of this value. Tc is temperature at the end of at the center of piston head, and Te is temperature at the edge of piston head, because heat will be dissipated from center to the ends. And normal values of Tc minus Te are 220 degrees centigrade for cast iron and 75 degrees centigrade for aluminum. I would like to point over here that we need not remember these formulas. These formulas along with likely values of various parameters are available in any standard data book. We just need to know the procedure of designing a piston. The heat distribution condition point of view, now we need to find what is H, because H we have said that it is portion of heat which is being removed by which is being dissipated by piston, because it is not possible that all of the heat that is being generated by combustion of gases will be dissipated by piston. It will only help in dissipating a fraction of that heat. What is that value? We can find using this formula. It is given by C into HCV into M into BP into 10 to the power 3. Mind you, you should find H in watts. C is ratio of heat absorbed by piston to total heat developed by the cylinder. It is generally 5% if not given. So that means whatever heat is being generated, only 5% of that heat is being dissipated by piston. HCV is higher calorific value, which is 44,000 kilojoule per kg for diesel and 47,000 kilojoule per kg for petrol. We can use this value if not given. Then M is average fuel consumption in kilogram per kilowatt per second. The average value is 0.24 to 0.3 kilogram per kilowatt per hour. But we need to put over here in the formula in the units kilogram per kilowatt per second, and BP is brake power in kilowatt. So we will use this formula, and whatever values are coming, we multiply that by, because that values are coming in kilowatt, so we need to have H in watts. So we'll multiply it by 10 to the power 3 and we'll find H and put that in the formula, and we'll find what is TH from heat dissipation. So whichever is the higher value, we'll take that as our thickness of piston head. Now after piston head, there comes design of ribs and cup. Ribs basically strengthen the piston head against gas pressure. They also help in increasing the rigidity and prevents distortion of piston head. We need to take a decision whether ribs are required or not. If thickness of piston head comes out to be equal to or less than 6 millimeters, ribs are generally not required. If it is more than 6 millimeter, ribs are required. Ribs can be 4 to 6, and thickness of rib would be 1/3 to 1/2 thickness of piston head. So we just need to find what is thickness of piston head, and we can very well find thickness of rib in terms of thickness of piston head. Then comes piston cup. As we have seen that we can have flat plate type head or cup type head. If it is cup type head, we need to have this dimension also. So piston cup provides additional support for combustion of fuel. When L by D is less than equal to 1.5, cup is required. Otherwise, cup is not required, and radius of cup we can take as 0.7 times d, where d is diameter of bore. Then comes another important part, that is piston rings. Piston rings are classified into two categories. They are compression rings, which are generally 3 to 6 in numbers, and oil scraper rings, which are 1 to 3 in numbers. The purpose of compression rings is to act as a seal between piston and the cylinder wall, and the purpose of oil scraper ring is to provide proper lubrication to the cylinder liner. They also allow sufficient quantity of oil to move up during upward stroke. They scrape the excess oil from inner surface and send it back to the crankcase. They also prevents leakage of oil into the combustion chamber. So both the types of rings, that is compression rings and oil scraper ring, they have a specific purpose. They don't allow entry of oil into the combustion chamber, and at the same time they help in reducing friction by proper lubricating the cylinder walls. The material of piston rings is usually grey cast iron or alloy cast iron. These are chromium plated to reduce wear. This is a diagram of a piston ring with radial width as B, axial width as H, and this is gap. They are open-ended. This gap also needs to be found. Now we need to find the thickness, radial thickness as well as axial thickness of piston ring. This is the formula which we use for finding radial thickness of piston ring, where D is diameter of cylinder bore, Pw is allowable pressure, sigma T is permissible tensile stress for the piston ring material. We can find B using this formula, and we can find H in terms of B. H is axial thickness, which is this. It is 0.7 to 1 into B. We can also represent G in terms of B and D. G is gap, which is this. Before assembly, the gap should be 3.5 B to 4 B, and after assembly, G should be 0.002 D to 0.004 times D. It is also worth mentioning that it is usually preferred to provide more number of thin piston rings rather than small number of thick rings. What does that mean? If we use piston rings of say 4 mm radial thickness and we use 8 such piston rings, that is better rather than using 4 piston rings of 6 mm radial thickness. After piston rings, we need to find width of top length and ring groove. This is denoted by H1. It is distance from top of piston to the first ring groove. This is H1. This is first ring groove. So distance from top of piston to the first ring groove is called H1. Its value is represented in terms of TH. That is 1 to 1.2 times TH. Next comes distance between ring grooves. These ring grooves can be represented in the formula of in the form of axial thickness, that is H. So H2 is 0.75 H2 H, where H is axial thickness that we have found in the previous slide. Next comes piston barrel. It is a cylindrical portion of piston below the piston head. This is piston head. So cylindrical portion below piston head is called as piston barrel. We need to find its thickness at this point, which is top end, and this point, which is open end, because beneath this connecting rod will start. So T3 and T4 are given by these empirical formulas, and T3 is given in terms of D and B, which we have already found, and T4 can be represented in terms of T3. We are seeing from last few slides that we need to find only few key dimensions, and we can convert the remaining one into those key dimensions. Then comes piston skirt. Piston skirt is the cylindrical portion of the piston between last scraper ring and the open end. So it is basically a portion of piston barrel only. This is piston skirt, which is last ring groove to the open end. Length of piston skirt is 0.65 to 0.8 times D, and total length of piston, which comprises of piston skirt, ring section and top length, it is 1 to 1.5 D. In this presentation, we saw how we can design a piston for an IC engine, and what are the key dimensions what we need to find. We'll also solve some numericals that will further strengthen our understanding on design of pistons. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. We'll meet again with more component design of IC engines. I thank you all for your patient hearing.